All right, today we are going to listen to a track from Morrissey's latest album called Makeup is a Lie. And I will just say that I'm actually a pretty big fan of Morrissey, and I guess I just always have been, going back to the Smiths and even, a lot of his solo work I like as well. Makeup is a Lie is his 14th solo album, and that came out this March. So it hasn't been out that long. Um, Anything else about this particular album? The track itself was written by Alan. Am I saying that right? Elaine? Maybe it's Elaine White and Morrissey. Produced by Joe Ciccarelli. I'm probably saying these wrong, but Sire Records. From what I read, though, this album was re-recorded because initially it was going to be released with the title "Without Music, the World Dies." The album was recorded in February 2023. It was produced outside the bounds of a record contract, as Morrissey had parted ways with his former label, Capitol Records, in December 2022. But yeah, so there's a lot of backstory on this album. So there ended up being two different albums, and the second one was re-recorded in France in late 2023 and given a new title. So you got all this record label stuff going on behind the scenes, and it had a new title, which is "Makeup is a Lie," and I kind of the album cover is just pretty funny when I when I see that shocked look. I think Morrissey has kind of always been his sense of humor has always been underestimated, in my opinion, which is why if you totally take him seriously, then that's why I think some people maybe don't like him so much because they don't realize that he does actually have a sense of humor. So let's go ahead and listen to this track. It's actually the last track on the album, called "The Monsters of Pig Alley." Really nice acoustic intro here.
Did you get the job and did they use your song? Did you find somewhere nice to call your home? Look after yourself. Good health is wealth. And now we say words that we never believed we'd say. The monsters of Pig Alley say, why don't you give it a rest and come back home? We're drab and we moan, but we're all your we love you.
Good guitar sounds.
Did you meet the star makers and the leg breakers? And what difference is there between the two? But what would you do if the dream came true? And now we say words that we never believed we'd say. The monsters of Pig Alley say, why don't you pack it in and come back home? We're not sophisticated, we're overweight and dated, but we love you. We love you.
Cool blend of guitars there. Instead of just, like solo. Just kind of blending in these. Here it's getting a little solo-y there.
Now the phone goes unanswered in your room. When you've tasted fame, nothing else will do. Body found on open ground. And now we say words that we never believed we'd say. The monsters of Pig Alley say, why don't you pack it in and come back home? The higher you climb, the less you find.
Really like the guitar here. At the end there. And a really long fade out on that sound at the very end there. So what do I think about this song? It kind of reminds me of what is it called? Every Day is Like Sunday. I think something. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But without looking it up, it has that same kind of uh, beat and tempo. So this kind of sounds like maybe a return to just the basic songwriting, and I think it's very effective songwriting too. I think it has a really good chorus, and it has nice little instrumental breaks in there, and as I mentioned, the guitars were sounding really good, blending in well, and then I really loved that the last 20 to 30 seconds where that guitar actually does kind of play out with a little bit of a solo, and it just has a really great sound. And the chorus is pretty catchy too. It's a memorable kind of a chorus. So I don't know. It's very very close. Mm, it's very close to S, but I think I'm gonna put it in A, just because, again, as I mentioned, it reminds me of a lot of previous tracks, like the one I mentioned. It's I wouldn't say it's like, breaking new ground. It's just doing what works, of course. And it is, it's a solid track. I think people may underestimate when I put something in A as if that's somehow bad. And it almost makes me want to get rid of S. Maybe I will eventually and just say A. uh, but it's very close because it's still a very good song. Um, and the vocals is always, to me, he sounds the same as ever. I don't, you know,
Did you get the job and did they use your song? Did you find somewhere nice to call your home? Look after yourself.
yeah. So, I mean, he's not doing, over the top. Nothing's over the top, of course, but he's doing, he sounds good. And I don't know if I put it in S again, maybe in A, just under songwriting. But I think the instrumentation is where I would lean more S on this song. I just really love, like, the intro, the guitars on this are really good. When you have the acoustic, and then whatever that droning background sound is, like somebody's just sitting on a chord. And then again, at the very end,
The less you find.
to me, the guitars just made this track in many ways just really well mixed. Bass is kind of moving around, but also keeping it steady too. Steady beat. I just love that guitar right there. I don't know what kind of guitar that is. Maybe I'm not gonna try to guess. It sounds a little like a Strat. I could be wrong. Anyways, I think I can put this in S as far as instrumentation. It's just doing everything right. And the production is also very good.
Your song. Did you
Production.
find somewhere nice to call your home? Look after yourself. Good health is wealth.
Those little keys are really distinct
And
right
now we
there.
say words that
So I think it's bringing out the
never
right
believed we'd say.
elements of the song. But as I mentioned, the
Monsters
guitars are very well
mixed.
mixed. I think I can put it in S. And the lyrics. So let's get to that. Because I think that's where Morrissey has always excelled and set himself apart from most everyone else. And again, I think there's sometimes Morrissey's can be kind of polarizing. And again, I think it's just that sense of humor thing that people don't recognize sometimes, and they just, you know, this song. I think this song is pretty more straightforward. There's no like hidden trying to be cute or anything. It's just some people have left some annotations on here. Did you get the job and did they use your song? Did you find somewhere nice to call your home? And the annotation is suggesting that it's somewhat autobiographical, representative of Morrissey's inevitable ascension to artistic deity and the ensuing gulf with his former life and family. Well, that definitely, yeah, I think there's definitely a good possibility. I've also seen the video for this, which is really good. It kind of paints this picture and a whole story of this kind of young man who breaks into I think it looks like he's breaking into the acting business. So I'm not sure that this is necessarily autobiographical. It could be. I have read his autobiography, which I loved that, man. Wow, that was really good. It really just helped me understand like what was going on behind the scenes and all the courtroom drama and everything. It was just really well written. Let's see. Look after yourself. Good health is wealth. So those are the sounds like the parents. Yeah. Advice from the protagonist's parents. I think that's the better way to look at this song is like this is a character, this is the protagonist going through this. And now we say words that we never believed we'd say. And in the video, when he's singing this at the very end, well, we'll get to that in a second. But the monsters of Pig Alley. What is Pig Alley? Because I really, okay, Red Light District of Paris. It's a city that it gets a few mentions on the album. The song may be about somebody lured into prostitution and the night-based dangers they encounter in the titular area. Okay. I was wondering what that referred to exactly there. Why don't you give it a rest and come back home? We're drab and we moan, but we're all your own and we love you. Again, it sounds like the parents um, showing how they feel they're perceived, likely returning to former trauma. Through peasant logic, they staircase to love, the universal, immutable bond between parent and child. Yeah, the parents are always just going to see you as their little boy or whatever. So it doesn't matter, how famous you become. You'll always be their little boy. Did you meet the star makers and the leg breakers? That could be the movie directors and casting agents. So again, we're getting a bit more specific into the acting business. And what difference is there between the two? What would you do if the dream came true? And a lot of people probably aren't prepared for what actually happens with success in something like show business. And now we say words that we never believed we'd say. The monsters of Pig Alley say, why don't you pack it in and come back home? We're not sophisticated. We're overweight and dated, but we love you. Yeah. minor transgressions in the knockabout world, fatal to the famous. And then now the phone goes unanswered in your room. When you've tasted fame, nothing else will do. Now that's, to me, that's the standout line right there. Um, it's the Goldilocks drug, forever too little or not enough, never just right, and never a happy ending. And that's definitely what we see happening in that video is the body found on open ground. And now we say words that we never believed we'd say. The monsters of Pig Alley say, why don't you pack it in and come back home? The higher you climb, the less you find. To me, that those closing two lines may be the best of the entire song because it's kind of like the illusion that you're going to ascend everything and find the ultimate happiness through fame, but instead it's you're disillusioned when you actually achieve it. So so yeah, no matter how famous you become, or no matter how much success you achieve, the way that I see it is you're not becoming more enlightened is one way of putting it. You just find that you're not more enlightened as a result. And probably that's because of the disillusionment and just the dissatisfaction despite the success. So I do think it's really good in terms of lyrics. And it's close. I could almost put this in. Don't want it in S. I'm going to put it in S. I think it's good enough. But because of that, I'm not going to put the actual overall song in S. I'll put it in A. Just because, again, I know I've said it, and I might probably keep saying it, that the music is the most important thing to me. Whereas the lyrics, I usually don't give as much weight, although it does carry more weight for this song. I still feel like it's an overall excellent track. It's one that I would put on my playlist that I want to keep listening to, of course. I just feel like because it's not really, breaking new ground, I wouldn't necessarily put it in S, but I do think it's very close. So if you wanted to put it in S, I wouldn't argue with you. But I do think overall it's an excellent track. And I don't know. We'll see how this, if I even continue to do this ranking system, because I'm afraid it's gonna cause all kinds of arguments about where it should be ranked and all this. I'm not sure, but it is. I do like being able to just break down the individual elements of the track. I just hope people don't take the ranking too seriously, or say that this is the only ranking, this is the only one that matters. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, so, and everyone has their own taste in music. So, with that, I'm going to say thank you for listening. And be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I will see you in the next video.